There's a pegboard on a garage wall in a quiet suburb that makes zero functional sense. The chisels aren't grouped by size. The wrenches aren't sorted by type or drive. The handsaw hangs in the upper left corner. To reach it, you have to cross the whole space, step over a cord, and dodge the drill press. Yet someone arranged this wall with quiet obsession over months. Each tool was hung, stepped back from, studied from the center of the room. Not efficient, not optimized, not logical by any time and motion standard. It is correct in a language that has nothing to do with workflow and everything to do with a garage that existed 30 years ago, in a different house, in a different city, with a different man standing exactly where this workbench stands now. This pegboard is a reproduction. The original was torn down by people who saw only tools, not sentences written in steel and memory. The only surviving blueprint lives inside the nervous system of the hands now rebuilding it. Muscle memory so deep it feels closer to reflex than recollection. This isn't nostalgia in the soft, decorative sense. Something far more neurologically precise is happening here. Between the ages of roughly 15 and 25, the brain carves its most vivid, emotionally charged memories, the reminiscence bump. These are the years identity crystallizes. For many men, that identity wasn't formed in classrooms or conversations. It was forged in a garage, not through lectures, but through proximity. The exact weight of a flashlight held steady in the dark, the smell of motor oil and sawdust, the click of a ratchet and a low voice saying, "Hold it right there," just like that. The boy thought the lesson was about the board. It was never about the board. It was about being needed in the room, where the man who mattered most was doing the thing that mattered most to him. No performance required, just presence, just shared air, just a small hand reaching for the upper left corner and finding the saw handle exactly where it was supposed to be. That expectation wasn't set last year. It was set in 1987 on a cold Saturday morning. Concrete floor freezing your feet, space heater clicking in the corner. The hand reaching today is the same hand that reached then. The body doesn't store time the way the mind does. This is embodied cognition in its purest form. Knowledge and memory living outside the skull, in muscle, posture, and physical space. Rearrange the pegboard for efficiency, and the entire room feels violently wrong, because you're not just moving tools. You're reformatting the only hard drive containing files that can never be re-downloaded. Each tool's position is mnemonic architecture. The chisel in the third slot from the left doesn't trigger a picture of the chisel. It triggers the temperature of the room, the slant of winter light, the exact pitch of a voice explaining grain direction. The boy didn't understand until his own hands met the same stubborn wood 20 years later and made the correction automatically. The workshop is a filing system for memories that have no verbal labels, and getting the finish right on any project is the hardest part. If you've ever fought bubbles, streaks, or finishes that refuse to cure, we put together a no-fluff guide that actually tells you what the can won't. Link in the first comment or scan the code on screen. Now, researchers at the Center for Male Psychology describe what they call symbolic canvas theory. Men often project emotional material onto physical objects and actions when words fail. The workshop becomes a canvas. The arrangement of tools isn't layout, it's portraiture. The subject is a relationship with someone no longer in the room. The medium is spatial logic preserved in steel, wood, and perforated hardboard. Every tool hung exactly where memory demands is a small, deliberate act of continuation. The father may be gone, or far away, or his hands no longer work like they once did. The original garage may have been sold, demolished, or turned into an Airbnb, but the spatial logic of his mind can outlive the man himself, held in trust by the hands that were shaped inside it. Dr. Kelly Lambert's work on the effort-driven reward circuit adds the neurochemical layer. When you place a tool in the exact remembered position, motor systems and memory systems fire together. The result is a unique cascade of serotonin and dopamine, the reward of retrieval, of reaching into the past and pulling something precious back. The vise mounted on the left side, even though it would work better on the right. The workbench built to the exact height, remembered from when your head barely cleared the top. The radio locked to an AM country station from a decade that meant nothing to you personally, but everything to the room you're rebuilding. The coffee mug that lives on the left, even though the coffee maker is on the right. The folding chair in the corner that you never sit in while working. Only after the tools are put away, under the humming shop light, just looking at the wall. These aren't quirks. They are load-bearing structures in a relationship that refuses to end. For most of human history, knowledge passed father to son, not through textbooks, but through shared atmosphere. The height of the bench, the arrangement of tools, the smell of the space, the rhythm of the work. The modern world severed that transmission. Offices replaced forges. The garage became one of the last sacred rooms where it can still happen. For sons whose fathers are gone, rebuilding the workshop is the final, faithful attempt to complete a lesson that death or distance interrupted. There's a man who rebuilt his father's bench to the exact dimensions. No blueprints, only the memory of standing beside it as a boy. The first time he rested his forearms on that finished top, something in his chest shifted. The feeling lasted maybe 10 seconds. It hasn't returned in full force, but the echo is enough. That echo is why the bench exists. Another inherited a vice after the funeral. It's mounted on the wrong side. Moving it would sever a connection more structural than the bench itself. These acts aren't stubbornness. They are the most precise form of remembering the male nervous system is capable of. The reminiscence bump tells us the original workshop isn't just memory. It's identity template. Embodied cognition tells us the layout unlocks knowledge no conversation can reach. Symbolic canvas theory tells us this is how some men process love when words were never the native language. So, if you've ever felt an irrational pull to hang a tool in a spot that defies every rule of efficiency, that pull wasn't irrational. It was the most rational thing your hands have ever done. The real question isn't why your workshop looks the way it does. The question is, whose hands are you remembering every time yours reach for a tool and find it exactly where they expected it to be? And whether the room you're building is for the work in front of you or for the man who is no longer behind you, watching you hold the light. If this resonated with you, if it gave you a new way to see what's really happening in your garage, then the guide we made on achieving perfect finishes every time is waiting for you. Hundreds of guys have already grabbed it. Link in the first comment below. Thanks for watching. Keep building, keep remembering, and I'll see you in the next one.